Cuts to health care, education, and even an attempt to bring back coal jobs. How's the Trump administration doing in its first 100 days? I'm CJ Harvey.
And I'm Kristen Toole. In this special edition of WVU News, we'll examine issues plaguing our mountain state.
And we'll introduce you to a Muslim American woman living in the heart of Appalachia.
These stories and more on this special edition of WVU News, 100 Days in Trump Country.
One of President Donald Trump's campaign promises was to bring back coal jobs.
And to do that, he would have to repeal some of former President Obama's orders on water and pollution. Allison Kaiser joins us now with more. Allison?
Thanks, Kristen and CJ. Coal production in West Virginia has dropped by 39% since 2008. By ending coal-related EPA regulations, President Trump says his plan to bring back mining jobs to the Mountain State is in motion. But some are worried about the impact on the environment and are skeptical of if Trump's plan for coal is even possible. I took a look at what ending the Stream Protection Rule and the Clean Power Plan could mean for West Virginians. This move by President Trump drew swift backlash from a coalition of 23 states and local governments, as well as environmental groups which called the order, quote, a threat to public health and vowed to fight it in court. CJ, back to you.
Thanks, Allison. Now, if you ask any retired coal miner, they'll tell you it's not just about getting miners back to work, but also taking care of the ones who already put in the work. I met one of those retired miners who's dealing with a disease that's very common in the mines, black lung. And now he and others are asking lawmakers for help.
And while many coal miners and clinics may be affected by Trump's recent repeals, the administration's attempt to replace Obamacare may hit those who need health care the most. With nearly 600,000 West Virginians on Medicaid, the possible repeal of the ACA under the Trump administration has West Virginia residents concerned. Trump's revised plan would skyrocket prices for senior citizens, which could ultimately change the way they live their life. Senator Joe Manchin says this is unacceptable.
Every insurance company will be able to charge a senior 5 times more than what they charge the healthiest young person. Those types of things are just inhumane.
Republican leaders pulled the proposed plan. However, changes to the bill could bring it back for another vote.
Another group that could suffer tremendously from replacing Obamacare are recovering drug users. And
with the highest overdose death rate in the country, West Virginians could be hit hard by a repeal. Casey Gentile joins us now with more. Casey?
Thanks, Kristen and CJ. Fatal drug overdoses in West Virginia continue to rise. As of 2015, a West Virginian was dying every 12 hours around the clock. And many are wondering how the Trump administration will address those battling drug addiction. I talked to a local resident about what the possibility of the ACA repeal may mean for him and thousands of others in the Mountain State. As West Virginia continues to fight the opioid crisis, officials say gutting Obamacare would leave 3 million Americans without drug treatment. Experts say the state needs practical solutions like more beds and drug treatment centers. Kristen and CJ, back to you.
Thanks, Casey. As Americans await the amended healthcare repeal, President Trump's America First budget has received backlash. It includes $54 billion in cuts to programs across the country.
One part of the budget includes a $2.4 billion cut to grants for teacher training, and it also lessens or eliminates 20 departmental programs. Reporter Scotty McMorrin talked to local residents and teachers to see how they think these cuts will affect their schools and their children. Trump's budget proposal isn't the only issue unresolved. The immigration debate is still ongoing. Congress has been unable to reach an agreement on immigration reform for years.
Meanwhile, the immigration debate moved to the forefront when President Trump signed executive orders on a new travel ban that was blocked. Officials said the ban discriminated against Muslims.
Courtney Kramer joins us now from Studio B at the Media Innovation Center to tell us more. Courtney?
Immigrants make up about 43 million people in America, and in the wake of future uncertainty, many immigrants are anxious and afraid. I spoke to one local Muslim American who says America is her home. A 2016 Gallup poll found that 72% of Americans considered immigration a good thing for the United States, and as many as 84% supported a path for undocumented immigrants. Back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Courtney. The travel ban was one of the most debated on issues in the Trump administration's first 100 days. However, many Americans may not understand what it's like living in conditions for people wanting to come to America. A local church gave Morgantown residents a chance to experience that firsthand. In just over 2,000 feet, residents were able to step into the lives of children living in places like Kenya, Guatemala, and Uganda. The Compassion Experience gives visitors a chance to see the reality of global poverty in other parts of the world. Visitors were also able to be able to go inside the markets and schools and homes of poor families. And for those that want to go beyond observing, sponsorships are being offered to help change the life of a family in need.
Many of us have a better understanding of what it's like to live in a developing country because of social media.
In fact, our own Commander-in-Chief has found a way to use social media to his advantage. Reporter Tessa Iglesias explains how the president is using Twitter to reach Americans.
Welcome back to our special edition of WVU News, 100 Days in Trump Country. The 45th president uses Twitter to reach his 27 million followers daily.
He also uses it to address political, social, and personal issues, and that has many Americans worried.
Reporters Tessa Iglesias and Alexa Chettarelli will join us now for our team coverage of Trump on Twitter.
Thanks, Kristen and CJ. Ever since Donald Trump declared his candidacy for president, Trump and Twitter have been joined at the hip.
And President Trump has taken advantage of this to communicate with his constituents in a way that no other president has done before. With President Trump tweeting on average 3 times per day, traditional press conferences and media coverage is something Trump has already managed to change, as he tries to get his message out quickly and in 140 characters or less.
And while Trump's first 100 days in office have been filled with extreme highs and lows, the Commander-in-Chief has signed 45 executive orders since his January 20th swearing in. But despite being so proactive, are people satisfied with the job he's doing so far? As of April 10th, President Trump's approval rating has reached 40%.
However, anti-Trump Twitter accounts continue to gain followers daily. Kristen and CJ, back to you.
Thanks, Tessa and Alexa, for that report. With growing tensions in the coal industry, healthcare reform, and West Virginia's budget deficit, residents still have a reason to smile.
Sports reporter Hannah Getz tells us why, coming up next. Welcome back to our special edition show, 100 Days in Trump Country. While there is a debate on proposed budget cuts at the federal level, West Virginia has been going through its own problems too.
But somehow residents keep pushing. Sports reporter Hannah Getz joins us now to tell us what keeps West Virginians going. Hannah?
Thanks, Kristen and CJ. To the Mountain State, WVU isn't just a school, and the Mountaineers aren't just a team. They are the heart and soul of this state. For those of us who had to leave the Mountain State for better jobs, those country roads keep bringing us home, and often it's to see Mountaineer sports. In a state full of uncertainty, the continued success of WVU athletics makes us proud and gives us hope. Despite the lack of a national championship, West Virginia residents will always support the Gold and Blue through the good and the bad. CJ and Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Hannah. And every time I hear that song, I get goosebumps.
It gets me every time.
But that's going to do it for this special edition of WVU News, 100 Days in Trump Country. You can visit us online on our website.
You can also watch any of our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Kristen Toole.
And I'm CJ Harvey. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Proposed taxes on cigarettes, gas, and even soft drinks. We'll tell you how budget negotiations may affect the Mountain State. I'm CJ Harvey.
And I'm Brianna Parks. A WVU professor's research can help make the technology behind self-driving cars safer.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at WVU.
Time is ticking. State legislators are looking for a way to offset a $500 million deficit.
And one of the proposed budget cuts will affect students right here at WVU. Matt McNamara found out what the university's plan is to combat these budget cuts. The regular legislative session ended on Saturday, April 8th, but that didn't stop West Virginia Governor Jim Justice hitting the streets recently on a Save Our State tour. The tour brought him right here to Morgantown, to West Virginia University. The governor spoke to a crowd of hundreds about the state budget and higher education. He also addressed issues like health care, jobs, and infrastructure. Justice says we can, quote, dig ourselves out of this hole without cutting programs like education by following his budget plan, end quote. The governor says stands behind taxing soft drinks and increasing tolls and DMV fees.
Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is willing to testify before investigators as they search for answers in the alleged Russian election hacks. However, Flynn's request for immunity was denied.
But some believe that the investigation isn't necessary and that a healthy relationship between the U.S. and Russia is needed. Connor Schlegel joins us now with more. Connor?
Thanks, CJ and Brianna. The FBI confirmed the investigation of Russian interference, but the Trump administration maintains there was no wrongdoing. Some experts say President Trump represents the best opportunity to improve U.S.-Russia relations in more than 2 decades. I found out what a positive relationship with Russia could mean for the country. After Trump's victory, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that his country was ready and looking forward to restoring bilateral relations with the U.S. and willing and welcome to support any steps in that direction. Brianna and CJ, back to you.
While one issue is far from being resolved, a major victory for Flint residents after a 3-year fight for clean water. A deal approved by a federal judge will force the city of Flint to replace water pipes in up to 18,000 homes.
The cost? Almost $100 million. But many say while this battle was won, the war is far from over, as millions around the globe still struggle to have a basic human necessity, safe fresh water. Courtney Kramer joins us now from Studio B at the Media Innovation Center to tell us more. Courtney?
In just one day, more than 200 million hours of women's time is consumed for the most basic of human needs, collecting water to survive. More than 800 million people around the world do not have access to clean water. That's 1 in every 6 people. But one local organization has made it their mission to support clean water initiatives around the globe. Amazaji says each person needs 25 to 50 liters of clean water each day for basic needs such as drinking, cooking, and cleaning. Officials hope events such as this one help raise awareness about clean water initiatives. Back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Courtney, for that report. Now, Back to the Future may have predicted things like drones, tablets, and even a Cubs win, but they were a little off with flying cars.
However, they may be self-driving soon. Tessa Iglesias joins us now from Social Square to tell us about a new development in the journey to autonomous driving. Tessa?
BI Intelligence predicts that there will be as many as 10 million self-driving cars on the roads by 2020. These vehicles would include fully driverless cars, as well as ones that feature self-acceleration, braking, and steering with limited driver interaction. With this climbing increase in autonomous vehicles, one WVU professor is aiming to improve the technology behind autonomous systems. Fregoso received a 2-year grant from the National Science Foundation that starts in September. His research will help improve artificial intelligence to be more confident when it comes to decision making, and will also help to improve image processing applications used to make maps for self-driving cars. Brianna and CJ, back to you.
Thanks, Tessa. Fans will get an early look at the 2017 Mountaineer football team soon, as the preparation for the season has already begun.
Sports reporter Andrew Caridi gives us an exclusive look at the team, coming up next. Spring football has commenced, and the Mountaineers have hit the field in anticipation for the 2017 season.
Sports reporter Andrew Caridi is here to tell us more. Andrew?
Thanks, Brown and CJ. You know, it's safe to say that this era of West Virginia football could really be the start of something special. On the back of 7 conference wins and a second-place finish, the Mountaineers are locked and loaded for a serious run. Familiar faces fill the locker room, and with the return of David Sills and offensive coordinator Jake Spavital, Mountaineer fans are excited to get their first look at the team. The Mountaineers will face a familiar foe to kick off the regular season. It's WVU and Virginia Tech September 3rd in Landover, Maryland, competing for the Black Diamond Trophy. CJ and Brianna, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. Hopefully the team can surpass 10 wins this season. That's going to do it for this week's edition of WVU News. You can visit us online on our website.
You can also watch our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Brianna Parks.
And I'm CJ Harvey. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.